Welcome to ProcrastiNOT Podcast by Project Expeditus, where we will be talking about the different challenges people face due to procrastination.
I am Alexis.
And I'm Tejal. We will be your hosts for this episode. In this episode, we will be talking about the negative impacts of procrastination as seen from a bird's eye view, specifically from the perspective of a teacher. Today, we have invited Ms. Chang Tia Yin, an English language and literature teacher from Raffles Girls' School, to provide her perspective on how procrastination has negatively impacted her students. Hi, Ms. Chang.
Hi, teacher. Hi, Alexis.
So, Ms. Chang, how long have you been a teacher?
Well, I started teaching in about 2008, so that would be about 13 years.
Wow, that's quite long. Have you seen your students procrastinate often in your time as a teacher? If so, how often and what are common things they procrastinate specifically on?
Well, I think I see students and adults procrastinating all the time. The most common thing would be their assignments, not handing in my work on time. But it could be a variety of things like putting off the house captain elections until the very last minute, things like that.
So, from your perspective as a teacher, why do you think that students often resort to procrastination?
I think it's difficult to say. It depends. When it comes to assignments, it really depends sometimes on the perceived difficulty level. Like, for instance, I teach Year 2 English. So recently we had the oral unit where students were supposed to be creating a video on a topic of their own choosing. And I think for some of the students who really struggled with doing the video, it was because they thought that it was difficult for them to focus on the topic, and then when they focus on the topic, after they saw what some of their other friends did, they felt intimidated, so they went back, and then after that they were like, I can't do this. So I think that perceived fear of losing out or not being good enough also hindered them, and it made it hard for them to actually start.
Oh, so based on your experience with such students, what do you think are the negative impacts of the procrastination has on these students?
Well, I think for some of the students who really struggled to get started on their videos, it's just this snowballing panic. So every day they would come to class, and then they would see what their friends were doing, but they just couldn't get started, or they couldn't fix. They couldn't say like, okay, today I'm going to be doing this or that. So it was this mounting confusion and panic. And I think in the end, some people actually ended up doing the video in just 2 days. And I think for some of these girls, there was a sense of dissatisfaction because they felt that this was not the best work that they could have done.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like, we've definitely seen people around us like doing this often. So, as you said just now, you think that procrastination is an issue that everyone faces. So, if so, do you procrastinate as well? And how often do you procrastinate?
Oh, of course I procrastinate. How often do I procrastinate? Well, I don't keep a tally on these things. But like I said, if the job is perceived to be tedious or difficult, then I procrastinate. Like, well, it's the holidays now, so I procrastinate on cleaning my house, on doing the ironing, all sorts of things. So how often do I procrastinate? On a regular basis.
So what are your methods of overcoming procrastination?
What are my methods of overcoming procrastination? I can share with you some that I do. Can I also share with you something that I've noticed a group of my students do?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah? Okay, cool. So I have a monthly scheduler where I put in all the things that I need to do. So I find that if I write down Friday, you have to clean the house, things like that, I'm forced to do it, and I cannot procrastinate because after that things will just become worse. So that's what I do. I put things down in a monthly scheduler and I try and stick to it. What I have noticed a group of my students do in my form class. So I noticed that when they have a lot of work, these students, they're really cute. They form this group, and then they have, I think, a Google sheet where they put down every single assignment that's due and the deadline for each assignment. So what they do is, and they put in everybody's names. So each time, right, one of the girls finishes one assignment, she puts a little check in the box next to the assignment. And I find that kind of positive peer pressure does help some of the girls. Of course, with some of them, it's still taking a while, but I think for the other 2 to 3 girls, it really, really helped to keep them on track. So that's one good suggestion.
Yeah, so I'm sure this peer pressure will definitely like encourage and motivate them to like complete their work. So thank you, Ms. Chang, for all the valuable information you have provided. As for the audience, thank you for tuning in to the ProcrastiNOT Podcast by Project Expeditors. We hope that you have learned something new and useful about procrastination. Do stay tuned for the next episode.